Remember the last time the electricity went out in your house. How did your parents cook dinner? What did you do for fun? What did you use for light when the sun went down? Did you wake up for school in time? How did you communicate with your friends? In the 18th century, electricity was non-existent. People used candles and oil lamps for light, snail mail and page boys for communication, and wood fire for cooking. It wasn't until Benjamin Franklin imagined a world with electricity and started conducting experiments and trials to create a world full of light. Benjamin Franklin was born on a snowy day in the city of Boston on January 17, 1706. Boston was in what was then called the Massachusetts Bay Colony, one of the 13 original British rule colonies. Benjamin was reading the Bible at the age of 5.
I don't remember a time I could not read.
His parents recognized his intelligence and zest for learning and sent him to the Boston Latin School when he was 8. Benjamin began working in his father's soap and candle shop when he was 10. At age 12, Ben became an apprentice to his brother James, a printer. Ben worked 14 hours a day, sweeping, running errands, setting type by hand, inking, and operating the press. At age 16, Benjamin Franklin found himself the youngest printer, publisher, and editor in all of colonial America. On September 30th, 1723, Benjamin Franklin arrived in Philadelphia, ready to start a new life. At the age of 22, Franklin owned his own print shop and the Pennsylvania Gazette, which he soon turned into the most successful newspaper in America. On September 1st, 1730, Ben married Deborah Reed, the young woman who found his first appearance in Philadelphia so entertaining. When Benjamin Franklin was 42 years old, he was wealthy enough to retire from business. Franklin became fascinated by electricity after he saw an electrical demonstration in Boston in 1743. Franklin's most important discovery was that a positive charge is always accompanied by an equal negative charge. He was sure that electricity and lightning were the same thing. Determined to prove that electricity and lightning are the same thing, he conducted his celebrated kite experiment in June of 1752. He built a silk kite with a pointed wire rising 1 foot above 2 wooden sticks. At the end of the string near his hands, he fixed a silk ribbon to a key. His son got the kite aloft, and they waited as a storm passed overhead. For some time, nothing happened, and Ben was dismayed. But finally, lightning struck the kite. Holding the wet string tightly, he felt tension, and the strands on the string began to rise up. He knew the string was carrying a charge. He touched the key and felt the shock of an electric spark. Franklin had discovered the principle of an electric condenser, a mechanism eventually used in radios, televisions, and telephone circuits. His kite experiment and his findings on electricity made him famous in Europe. In fact, he became the most celebrated man in America. In 1751, Franklin published Experiments and Observations on Electricity in London. It made his fame as a scientist in Europe. In 1785, he was elected president of the Pennsylvania Executive Council and died shortly later in Philadelphia on April 17th at the age of 84 of pleurisy, a disease of the lungs. Although he lived such a long time ago, Benjamin Franklin's experiments with electricity impact our everyday lives. Remember that next time you flip on a light switch.